Canada's veterans will be a powerful voting bloc in the federal election. So this week, we're putting our focus on the issues affecting our former servicemen and women. The issue of suicide put veterans' issues into the spotlight 2 years ago, provoking anger and outrage.
Absolutely, I'd describe it as an epidemic. I mean, this has been going on for a number of years.
Tension between the government and veterans peaked with the closing of a number of Veterans Affairs offices across the country.
You know, we got 2 Remembrance Days now.
Frustration over changes to pension and disability benefits boiled over.
We want equality to the Pension Act. And we want the pension for the wife that they took away restored.
Decorated soldiers took their complaints to Parliament Hill, only to be shut out by then Veterans Minister Julian Fantino.
That's absolutely untrue.
Well, of course, you're going to say that.
Case after case made headlines, prompting a cabinet shuffle with rookie MP and vet Aaron O'Toole taking over the portfolio.
It's an honor for me to serve our veterans. I served myself, and they're some of our finest citizens, so it's an honor for me.
And those who serve with honor continue to look for answers. Joining us in Calgary is Lee Humphrey. He's the founder of Veterans for the Conservative Party of Canada. In Ottawa, we're joined by Alana Gilmore, a former Army medic and the wife of Jody Minnick. And here in studio is Captain Phil Ralph, the National Program Director of Wounded Warriors Canada. Good morning to all of you. Thank you for coming in to talk about Veterans Affairs and, you know, what you hope to see moving forward. And I'll begin with you, Captain. Tell me what you would like to see happen. Some of the positions have been out there, the NDP talking about their increase to benefits yesterday. What would you like to see?
Well, I mean, I think it's really instructive that all 3 parties are really addressing veterans issues. That can be a good thing because it gets it onto the election platform and it gets it out there as an important issue. We know as an organization that Canadians love and support veterans and their families because they've been supporting us overwhelmingly. And I'd like to see the debate continue on just, you know, what the government should be doing and what the nation should be doing for our veterans and, more importantly, or equally as importantly, for their families.
Let me ask you this, Alana, because, you know, of a lot of the hot button issues within it, certainly the Veterans Charter is one of them. What would you like to see?
Well, I find we have an old charter and we have a new charter. What we've done is we've created 2 classes of veterans. And there's a great divide between what's being covered under the old system and what's being covered under the new one. And I find the new one is very difficult to navigate. And there's a lot of allowances, but not everyone qualifies for these allowances. And really what should happen is we should have a comparable system for everybody. And ideally, whatever that's going to take to bridge the gap between these 2 is ideally what needs to happen. And we need to have more stability. We need to know that our future is going to be taken care of. We've done the ultimate sacrifice we've given to our nation, and now it's time for the nation to look after our soldiers.
And let me throw it over to you, Lee, in Calgary, and what you would like to see with regard to, you know, changes in Veterans Affairs and election issues.
Right. For me, I think it's clear that both of your previous guests have outlined some of the concerns that everybody have, but I don't think it's realistic to think that we're going to end the old charter or combine the 2 charters. None of the parties are offering that as a solution. What I think the biggest problem within Veterans Affairs is, your last guest just outlined slightly, is the bureaucracy behind Veterans Affairs. When a veteran goes in, calls in and says, I'm a veteran, I need help, they need to understand all the programs that they're entitled to, all the benefits that they're entitled to. And we're not seeing that. We're seeing a mixed result of bureaucrats sometimes helping and sometimes not so much. So veterans don't come away with a full sense of what they're entitled to, and they feel that they're not getting the service that they deserve, and that boils into frustration.
And part of that service that we've been hearing that they're not getting, that that they deserve, is because of the closure of some of these offices and going over to Service Canada. A lot of people saying that some people have to travel a couple of hours just to get there, and then when they do get there, they're not talking to people who really understand Veterans Affairs. Let me ask you this about this, Captain.
Obviously it's a hot button issue for a lot of people. Access to making sure that,
huge.
Access is a huge issue. But as you know, the slate of benefits and the understanding them. I mean, we've had a whole rollout recently of enhancements to the benefits under the new charter, and it is quite confusing to see what benefits one has access to.
And I think you were saying, exactly that, Alana, saying it's confusing, it's tough to navigate. When you look at some of the positioning that we've heard so far, and, Justin Trudeau saying that he would reinstate lifelong pensions, and he said that, and the NDP saying that they're going to put a lot more money, hundreds of millions of dollars back into it. What do you think? Where would you gravitate towards in terms of position?
Well, ideally, I'm going to gravitate towards the one that's going to give my family security for life. Mm-hmm. And being the spouse of a wounded soldier, and I have issues myself, ultimately that's what families are looking for. They're looking for something that they can feel like they are capable of growing old and not fearing what the outcome is, losing a job, not having that income security. The stresses that are involved in that, relationships fail just due to financial stress. Mental health fails due to financial stress. These are all big key issues that people keep skirting around. Well, ultimately, it's because there's no stability anymore, and it's not tough to figure out what they can do to try and help people out. And ideally, I think that's the direction that we need to look at. That's what the old pension system had. What we have now, the lump sum, you have a lot of people that have just gone through major life changes. Now they see something shiny and they go and buy it. Now the lump sum's gone. Like, what do we have in place that's going to help people in their future? And that's where, myself and the spouse of a wounded soldier, that's the that's what we're looking at.
Lee, let me get your impressions of this, because the lump sum has been a very big issue for a lot of veterans. They want to see lifelong benefits. What do you think?
Well, the lump sum was initially developed and brought into law by the Martin government in 2005, and the Royal Canadian Legion played a large part in that decision. It obviously isn't serving all veterans well, so the government has changed it and provided 3 options that you can take to achieve either a lump sum, a partial payment with monthly payments, or full monthly payments. In addition, I believe it was the captain that mentioned in July, numerous enhancements were brought in so that it is not just the lump sum. There is monthly payments for other disabilities that are added on to that. Like I said, I truly believe that we are moving in the right direction, and with some additional training within the bureaucracy so that veterans do and are aware of what they are entitled to, you're going to see a lot of these veterans that were, the cases that were not handled well, see a resolution that it favors them.
Well, thank you very much to all of you for coming on to discuss this. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
On tomorrow's show, candidates from the federal parties will be here to share their positions on veterans issues. If you have a question you'd like asked, you can tweet us at CTV Canada AM or post it to our Facebook page.